I have a bit of a problem with the title of this one. It's a portmanteau that doesn't really work in English. So I'm going with Majaventure, and being careful not to accidentally call it Majaventure. This is one of those games that merges Mahjong with another genre, and this time it's RPGs. And unfortunately, that means I actually have to explain Mahjong scoring a bit. For those just joining us at episode 695, Mahjong is a set collection game very similar to Rummy, only played with tiles rather than cards. And the version played in Japan is Riichi Mahjong, which has some very complicated scoring rules and requires that you build certain types of hands before you're allowed to go out. Although Majaventure is actually a little bit looser on that. This is a port of a computer game, but I can't really show it. It's one of those Mahjong games, and the characters, including the one on the box cover, all look like they're about 10 years old. Since I want to keep my channel, we'll just move on from there. In the Famicom version of Majaventure, there's an evil force out there that can only be stopped by playing Mahjong. And as the hero, you need to set out and defeat a whole bunch of animals that turn into girls when you beat them. At the place where you start out, you can save your game by getting a password. But what you really need to do is travel around this world map looking for games. Now I actually have to drill down into how Mahjong is played. The way that it usually works is all of the players in a game start out with 25,000 points. When you complete a winning hand and choose to reveal it, then points for that hand are tallied based on a lot of factors. The type of hand you completed, what your last remaining pair was, if you went out because somebody discarded the tile that you needed, if you were the dealer or not. So after all of these factors are tallied up, the person who won the hand gains points, while points are taken away from other players, with extra points removed if you took the final tile from them. The way it works with Majaventure is that the points that you're playing with are your hit points. You start out with 3,000 maximum, and in the very first fight, your opponent only has 1,000. That's an amount that you'll take away by default just for winning with any hand. Later on, you can increase your attack and defense stats. That is, increase the amount of points you take when you win a hand, and decrease the amount of points that you lose when your opponent beats you. You can also learn magic spells that are basically cheat abilities. The first one basically lets you do a mulligan on your initial draw, discarding your hand if you're unhappy with it and starting over again. During play, you press the B button to bring up a menu of possible commands, like calling out when you're going to take a tile from the other player's discard. There's two different menus here, one before you draw and one after you draw. The one after you draw is for revealing your hand when you've won, or declaring that you're one tile away from victory, which gambles 1,000 points on you winning. I actually found it easier to use than most interfaces for Mahjong games on the Famicom. All of the Mahjong matches in this game start out with the character as an animal, and if you defeat them, they turn into a naked woman, though they do cover up. Some people might revel in getting that little bit of 8-bit pixelated flesh, while I just revel in the fact that I finally won a hand of Mahjong. I'm actually kind of annoyed that they did that, because Majaventure really is one of the better playing Mahjong games on the Famicom that I've encountered so far. I like how the game has been scaled down to just a few hands. I like that there's character progression and things you can do to bend the odds in your favor. But at the end of the day there, you're still playing a strip Mahjong game. And if you tell somebody that you're playing Majaventure and they Google it, then it gets creepy. Weirdly enough, this isn't the only Mahjong game on the Famicom that merges an RPG style with the table game, and I'm kind of hoping that that one doesn't go in this direction.